Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Young Link Jr. I feel like it would be appropriate for me to talk about some these candidates' policies, starting with VP Kamala Harris. She has a housing plan, specifically, and I kind of want to talk about this. This is from my feed news. I think that's really good and important. But before I get into that, remember I talked about the capital. Well, she wants to. They want to raise like the capital gain tax 44% and the corporate tax 28%. And those who don't know, the corporate tax is basically like, hey, say if you own any type of stocks or any type of a piece of a share or ownership of a business, you'll earn like $3,000 or $4,000. Regardless if you sell it or keep it, you're gonna get taxed 28%. That's going to cause a lot of companies to, investors to hold back, and companies pretty much are going to, raise their prices and offset it just to offset the inflation. You look at too with the capital gain tax of 44%. Say if you own a property, it's like $300,000. You've been in there for like 5 to 10 years, and you did some work on it, and that 10-year span, you ready to sell it, and you profit over $100,000. So now the house is worth $400,000. It'll tax you 44%, just for selling it. So it's like accumulating equity. You'll get penalized for it, and some people's taking a blind eye to that. But we'll have to. This needs to be addressed. We talked about this many times, right? It seems like home ownership has been not feasible to a lot of Americans, even people who have decent jobs making 70-80K a year. It depends on your region. Just you want to have a decent area, right? So I'm just gonna get here and read this. It said Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has positioned herself as a champion for affordable housing, promising to address the rising costs that have put home ownership out of reach for many Americans. As the centerpiece of her campaign, Harris is pledging to build more housing and implement policies aimed at making home ownership and renting more affordable for millions of struggling households, all right, across the nation, according to Newsmax. In her acceptance speech for the Democratic presidential nomination, Harris made a bold promise: we will end America's housing shortage. This declaration has resonated with many Americans who have faced escalating housing costs in recent years. Harris' commitment to tackling the housing crisis stands in contrast to what some critics perceive as the Biden administration lack of substantial progress on this critical issue. Now, while Harris' campaign is still in its early stages, she has already outlined several detailed plans to spur new construction and reduce costs for renters and home buyers. All right. Now, these plans largely revolve around tax incentives designed to encourage the building of affordable housing and provide relief to those struggling with the high cost of living. One of the key aspects of Harris' housing strategy is the expansion of tax credits for low income renters. This proposal aims to reduce the financial burden on renters by providing them with a refundable tax credit, which would help offset the cost of rent and utilities. Okay, so you got the low income renters. Harris argues that this policy will provide immediate relief to millions of Americans who are currently spending a significant portion of their income on housing, on the housing burdens. I talked about that before. In addition to renter relief, Harris is advocating for the expansion of the low income housing tax credit program. This federal initiative provides tax incentives. It develops to build or rehabilitate affordable rental housing by increasing funding, care, and support. Harris believes that the construction of affordable housing units will increase, thereby, helping to alleviate the nationwide shortage. Harris is also proposing reforms to zoning laws, which she argues are a significant barrier to new housing construction. By incentivizing local governments to adopt more flexible zoning policies, Harris hopes to spur the development of high density housing in areas where it is most needed. This approach, she believes, will help address the housing supply crisis that has driven up costs in many urban and suburban areas. Yeah, like penalize these companies like BlackRock. They go in here into these, urban areas and neighborhoods, building like big homes and mansions in around them, and causing the cost, to go up, and so therefore the property taxes go up too. I think we should get rid of property taxes. Especially if you put on a 30-year fixed mortgage and you paid it off, why I'm still paying on it? Why I still gotta have the stress to have money extra side to pay this annually, so my property will get taken by the government. We need to get rid of that. This emphasizes on addressing the housing crisis, marks a significant distinction from the Biden administration, which has faced criticism for not doing enough to tackle the root causes of the housing affordability. They said offering down payment assistance is one of the things she wants to do. Other financial support. Harris aims to make homeownership more accessible to segment of the population. This is especially significant given the racial disparities in home ownership. Race for Black and Hispanic Americans being less likely to own homes compared to their white counterparts. As Harris continues to roll out her policy platform, her focus on affordable housing is likely to be a central theme of her campaign, which it should. With rising costs putting pressure on households all across the country. Yeah. Harris' commitment to ending the housing shortage and making home ownership more attainable is a pledge that could resonate strongly with voters. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully this is be a good thing, man. I think it's like about 40% of African Americans actually own homes. And this is not just renting homes. I'm talking about just like you paying a mortgage, owning it, like, and I think this is something that, millennials and especially many generations want to do. I mean, it's just in us. You want to at least like okay, you work a 9 to 5, especially a job that you probably don't really care for, but you can look at the and understand the fruits of your labor. I'm not saying like living in an apartment or a townhouse condo is nothing, but when you have like some type of equity or home, I mean, you can own condos and stuff. But I'm just saying, for the sake of this argument, when you have a home, it just shows like, okay, well, something I can pass on to the generation. At least that it gives me a lot of more motivation to continue to keep going, right? And to strive for something better, and great because I'm in this position now. I have a home and it's good, it's spacious, and at least I have something to look forward to after my hard days of work. I think that this is like a self-consciously achievement thing, man. I think we should all be entitled to those who work hard. And earn their money legally. So hopefully, like the Harris and Watts campaign, man, they go ahead and just figure this out. Really, that's the biggest thing. We need some affordable housing. I think that's really key, man. Should be no reason you work 2 or 3 jobs and barely can afford anything, right? Even a studio apartment nowadays just didn't get your life started when you graduate from college. It's rough, man. You got to settle for roommates. I know that's been like a big thing, but yeah, but we're just not the best right now in the country when it comes to that. But you guys tell me what you guys think, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I love you guys, man. I'm not gonna do this too long. It's over 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Love y'all, man. I'm out.